All right, your second project is going to be the dice project. And what I want to do in this project is show you how you can specifically put geometric shapes in certain locations and kind of get an understanding of dimension limitations. So for example, these holes, if I make them any bigger, then the pattern won't fit and I won't be able to put the holes like you see on the face of the dice. So for example, right here, I cut it pretty close with the 13 millimeter hole. Now I could actually probably come a little closer and bring these in together tighter, and that would allow this side not to be so narrow. So that was a mistake on my part, but I'm going to go with it. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to show you how to do this project and follow along. So your first step is you're going to want to go to Onshape and go to Create. You're going to come down to where it says Document and left click, and you're going to type Dice Project, and you're going to hit Enter. Once you have done that, you always want to do these things before you do any project in Onshape. You want to go to the three bars in the top left corner, go down to where it says Workspace Units, left click. You want to go to where it says Inch, left click on the menu, and go to where it says Millimeter and left click on the menu, and go to the green check and left click to make it happen. Now immediately take your mouse over to where it has the front plane and hover over the eye and left click once. That'll hide that plane. Go down to where the right plane is, hover over the eye and left click once, and now that plane is hidden. And then go to the cube and left click on top, and now everything should be centered on your screen. Now what we want to do is go up to Sketch and left click on Sketch and bring your mouse over to the plane area and left click once. Now you see Sketch 1 appear on your screen and you're able to start drawing the dice project. What you're going to want to do is, like we did in the previous project, go to the drop down menu on the rectangle tool, and you're going to want to go get what's called Center Point Rectangle. Now I'm going to bring my cursor over to the origin in the middle of the screen, and when it turns orange, I'm going to left click once on my mouse. As you can see, 0, 0 populates on the screen, and I'm not touching any buttons on my mouse right now, so I'm going to move the mouse without touching any buttons down to the bottom right, and then I'm going to left click one time. Now the program immediately asks if I want to give a dimension or a number for this bottom line down here. Now don't use your mouse, just go to your keyboard and type in the number 50 and hit enter. The program's smart, it knows that you typed in a number for one of the lines, but what about the other line? So you can see the white box over here for 65.241. I'm going to type in 50 for that one and hit enter. Now I'm ready to go up to the extrude button in the top left corner, and I'm going to left click on this extrude button once. And now when you get to this extrude button, this is where you're going to set the depth or how high you want to actually make the cube. So again, we're going to make it 50 and hit enter and then hit check. So now what I'm going to do is kind of open up another tab and show you each side that I'm going to work on so I can keep the project going in the right direction. So what I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this tab so I can open another tab. And then what I'm going to do is go to the finished project. Alright, so you can see on the top of the cube I have just the number 1 circle. So we're going to represent number 1 on the top. So I'm going to left click on the top, zoom in, I'm going to go left click on Sketch, I'm going to bring my mouse to the top of the cube and left click. So now I'm drawing on top of that face, and what I'm going to do now is go to my circle tool, and I'm going to go down to the center dot in the middle of the square, left click once, then I'm going to pull the mouse out and I'm going to left click again, and I'm going to type the number 13 and hit enter. Now I'm going to go to extrude. Instead of adding like you did before, I'm going to go to remove, and this time I'm going to change the number to 3 and hit enter and then hit check. And now I have removed the first symbol for number 1 on the dice. Going back to my example project, in the front on the right side face I have 5 circles. So this should be pretty easy to do. So I'm going to come back to here and I'm going to go to the right side. It's important I do them on the exact side. So what I'm going to do is go Sketch, and then I'm going to bring my mouse over and left click on this face. Now I have some math that I have to determine. So I know I need a circle here a circle here, a circle here, and a circle here. So what I want to tell you is from here to here is 50 millimeters. So to the midpoint, so if I drew a line, you're going to draw a line from this corner, the midpoint is 25 millimeters, excuse me. So I don't want to be here. Only when I draw the center circle do I want to be in the middle of the cube. I want to find the middle area over here. So to do that, I'm actually going to divide 25 by 2, which is 12.5. But to make life easy, what I'm going to do here is go over to the midpoint and click. So I have a line. I'm going to go back until the midpoint and click, and it's 12.5. And then I'm going to go down 12.5. So all I have to do now is go to my circle, left click on it once in the dot and draw it out. And then I'm going to type in 13 again and hit enter. Now I want to make this populate over to here and down here with as little work as possible. So what I'm going to do is go to the line tool, go back to my midpoint and draw a line up. I'm going to go back to the line. I'm going to left click on that line one more time. I'm going to come down here and find the midpoint on this line by tracing down until I find the midpoint and left click once. And then I'm going to go over to the right and I'm going to left click. Now I'm ready. I'm going to go to what's called the mirror tool. I'm going to left click on this line and then I'm going to left click on this circle. Then I'm going to go back to the mirror tool to get rid of it. I'm going to click it one more time. I'm going to click this line so I can mirror this circle down below and this circle down below. Now the next part's pretty easy. You learned in the previous video, since this is 50 millimeters in length, and if we're already in the midpoint, all I have to do is go down 25 millimeters and I'm in the middle. I'm now going to draw a circle right here and I'm going to draw it out. I'm going to type 13 and hit enter. Now I'm going to do is go extrude and I'm going to go remove and I'm going to go 3 and hit enter. So now I have the 5 side on the dice. Now looking back at my project, there's a 3 side. Well, this is going to follow the same process. I'm going to go over 12.5, up 12.5, over 12.5, down 12.5, and then this guy's in the center from the midpoint down 25. So looking at that, I'm going to come over to this side of the dice. I'm going to go sketch. I'm going to click on the face. I'm going to go click on the line. I'm going to come down to the bottom left corner and left click, and I'm going to draw out to the right and type 12.5. Since that's halfway between the midpoint, I'm going to go up 12.5 straight, and then I'm going to draw a circle, and that circle is going to be 13 and hit enter. Now the next part's really easy. I'm just going to go to the midpoint. All right, waiting on this. Sometimes the program will get hung up. I'm going to left click and I'm going to go up and I'm going to type 25, and then I'm going to get the circle tool, left click once, come out, type 13. Alright, same process. All I have to do is come up to the top corner, go over 12.5, and then I'm going to go down 12.5. And then I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to make that 13 and hit enter, and I'm going to go extrude, remove, and I'm going to type 3 and hit enter. So now I've got 3 sides done. So let's go back to the example project. This side's easy. It's basically the same thing I did, but on the opposite side. So I just need 2. So I'm going to come over to here, and I believe it's on the left side. Yep, it's on the left side. So on the left side, I'm going to go sketch, left click on this face, go to my line tool. I'm going to left click in the top left corner, go to the right, 12.5. I'm going to go down 12.5. And then I'm going to draw a circle. And I'm going to make that 13. And then I'm going to repeat the step down here in the bottom right corner. I'm going to click on the bottom right corner and go to the left, 12.5. Go up, 12.5. Now, the reason why you want to keep these numbers always the same is, number one, it's in that actual quadrant that you want to put it. Plus, you want to have uniformity so that your dice looks correct. Draw a circle, type 13, and then what I'm going to do is go extrude. I'm going to go remove. I'm going to type 3, and I'm going to hit enter and check. Now I'm going to move over to the other side, and the other side should be 4. So that's going to be really easy. That is the same process, and I can mirror it. So what I'm going to do is come over here on the back. I'm going to go sketch, left click on this face, and I'm going to draw a line in the top left corner to the right, and I'm going to go 12.5. I'm going to go down 12.5, and then I'm going to draw a circle and make that 13 and hit enter. Now I'm going to go to the line tool, I'm going to find the midpoint, and I'm going to draw a line up. I'm going to go back to the line, click it to get rid of it, click it to select it, find the midpoint on this right line, left click once and go to the right and keep it straight, and left click. Now what I'm going to do is go to my mirror tool, click this top line that's going to divide the cube in half, and I'm going to left click on that circle. I'm going to go back to the mirror tool, I'm going to click it one more time, I'm going to click this line right here, and I'm going to reflect these 2 lines down. There it is. I'm going to go extrude, remove, and I'm going to put 3 millimeters and hit enter. So the last thing I have to do now is the 6 side on the dice. So as you can see right here. Now what I should do in this video is correct my mistake and probably update my 3D printing. This is too wide right here. So what I'm going to do is experiment and get this right. So what I'm going to do is come over to this side, and let's make sure I'm putting them in the right direction. Should be going this way. Alright, so here is the 5 side. Let's look at it the same way. Okay, good, and it should be going towards the 4. Okay, so there's the 5 side, there's the 4. Okay, so I'm going to go sketch, click on this face, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come up and I'm going to go over. We're going to start off with 8. I'm going to kind of experiment, and I'm going to go down 12.5, and what I'm going to do is draw a circle out to 13 and hit enter. So there's my circle, and now what I'm going to do next is kind of find the middle point for this. I'm going to come out and I'm going to touch this midpoint or that center point. I'm going to come up, and it's 17, and I'm going to left click. So that puts the circle in the center of the dice. So I'm going to go left click on the circle, left click on this point, and I'm going to type 13 and hit enter. Alright, and then I'm going to draw another line that's 17 over to the right. And I'm going to draw a circle out to be 13. So that looks a lot better. Now all I have to do is go to my line tool, go to the middle dot or the origin and draw a straight line to the right, go mirror, and I'm going to left click on that line, and I'm going to reflect, left click on these circles and reflect them across the line. Now I can go extrude, remove, and I can put 3 and hit enter and hit check. So there you have it. You have your dice project done. So this project was showing you how you could use specific dimensions and coordinates to draw geometric constructs or shapes. I do want to go over something with you at this time now. Take a look at this side and we'll use it as an example. So if I go here on this side and I right click edit this sketch, what I just taught you was this line is the X, and I went over 12.5 on the X. And then this line is the Y, and I went down 12.5. So that gives you an exact coordinate on where to draw the circle. Same thing down here. To keep the same kind of pattern, I went the same distance over on the X from this corner out 12.5 and up 12.5. So I kind of want to give a hint and some helpful advice on how to use the coordinates, because your next project is going to really rely upon it. So I hit check, and this is over. Okay, after you finish this dice, if you want it, what I want you to do is make another one, but I want you to double it. I want you to make it 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. And I believe, and this is 13, that you might have to make it 26. So an example would be like this. I go sketch, and then what I'm going to do, actually no, take that back. I'm going to go down to the plus sign, go to Create Part Studio, And I'm going to do the next one. And I want you to make one that's 100 by 100 by 100. So you're going to sketch, left click on this face, get the center point rectangle, left click on the origin, go 100 by 100, extrude to 100, and go check. Now I'm going to do some checking to see if this works out. So on one face, I'm going to draw 4. So that face that had 4, so let's look at the top. So if we're looking at the top, the back had 4. So I'm going to go to the back. Here, I'm going to click on the back, sketch, left click. Now, the center should be 25 now. Or not the center, but the quadrant should be the 25 because the midpoint is 50. So I'm going to come out 25 and go down 25. And that should be the same thing. And then I'm going to make a circle that's 23. And that looks right. So I don't know if you can make it 25, but you could play and see if 25 works. But then basically all I would do is the same process. I'm going to use the midpoint. I'm going to go to mirror, click that line, and reflect. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come down to this line, find the midpoint, draw a straight line to the right, click mirror, click the line to mirror, and click on the circles to reflect across. And then I'm going to go extrude. And then I'm going to go remove. And I'm going to go to 3. Now you can experiment and change the size of the circles, but I think 23 looks to be correct. So anyway, make 100 by 100 by 100 cube, and the numbers are going to be slightly different. I believe they're going to be double. So whatever you did in this one, double the numbers. Good luck. I'll be there to help you.